we're just going to have a look at it. There's been we're less than a week, we're only a few days into the new season. There's been some top 10 gunsmiths. Thought I'd just have a look at what had been out there. We are missing so far Jokesters and Signos. They're sort of in partnership there. I know Signo's been sick. This was the first one I think I saw by Strange One Gaming.
As you know, new season update is out, and it's the right time to show you guys the top 10 best guns for season.
I don't know whether Strange One, whether that's the first time I'm hearing his voice. It's similar to when Signo stopped using a voice thing and started using his own voice. Strange One definitely has a strong accent. Okay, he's got the AK-147 at number 10. This did get a buff. So it has 2-shot potential, but it is a slow-firing gun. So we saw Jokester using this on stream the other day. He was using the DRH and this. Signo did do a video comparing the two, and they're very similar, but this one maybe has the advantage. I'm using DRH because it's a snake gun, free legendary, for those that saw yesterday's video. Would I have put this in the meta? I would say it's an off-meta, not a top 10. Okay, M13, yeah, I mean, pretty stable, reliable. He's using disabled. Disabled works well on LMGs. You can hit any around the body and it causes pause over a couple of seconds by 25%. Slows you down, which at range against snipers can be helpful. It is a movement meta, so I guess we do see some pros using disabled on SMGs as well. So on anything below that, so ARs and SMGs, disabled only works on leg shots. So if you're lying shooting under a bus like Erith does on Nuketown, that can be quite good. Otherwise, I guess it comes under the framework of lucky shots. FFAR, this is a very versatile gun. Sort of drops in and out of my loadout. Yeah, that looks all pretty standard. So if you're a Fennec user, the style's not too different. It's very fast firing, but it has more bullets than a Fennec and it has more range, so it can be great. You do need some trigger control though, because you will spew all those bullets out pretty fast otherwise. I might just mute that because I'm not sure about the music situation. Okay, Kilo, yeah, these are all pretty, some of these are standard, they're just never going to leave the meta. Yeah, it doesn't have bullet speed, so up against the Graal, it works alright, and against the LK. This is interesting, he's putting the AS VAL in. It got a little buff. I would not have considered that meta at all, it's an off meta. However, it has got the ammo conversion. It turns it into like a marksman. That I actually want to play around with, not this loadout. Maybe during Clan Wars as an alternative to the SKS, a more aggressive SKS. Secret SMG. Ah, yes, well there's that. I guess what these top 10 lists don't tell you is it's just a list of, I don't even know how each of these individuals qualify their reasoning. Because to my mind, most of us play S&D, and we know that you'll sometimes be up against full squads of snipers, often using the DLQ. But the DLQ is rarely in anybody's top 10 list, So this is where I think top 10 lists are a bit, also when they're ranking them like this, if I wind up doing a top list, it'll be different. But yeah, if you're on map, it's situational map, mode, opponents, how you're feeling on that day, your play style, how you're going to play that, all of the above. You can absolutely use something like this to devastating force up close and even control it to some range. Okay, CBR, yeah, I mean, that's massive nerfs, massive enough to, stop everybody using it. Bunch of different loadouts for it, but yeah, this is still, you can still use this in Beam, especially if you've got a, paper one. Okay, this one here, CX9, is really good, very deadly. It has bullet speed. I don't like it. I don't like generally guns with bullet speed because a lot of my games tend to be high ping. They didn't waste much time on that gun, huh? But the Graal, this one right here, this is the one I would say if your meta list, if your top 10 list is based on popularity, like a popularity contest, this is either number 1 or number 2. In fact, I'd say it's number 1. So some of you have watched me stream and I've gone at the end and just counted up the number of the Graals being used. And it's at least 60% of the players are using this. And then if I do it on the guns that I die to, the Switchblade is, because I guess the Mythic being released, I've been dying to that a bit. The interesting thing, I think it's the only gun where you can change the barrel and it changes your iron sight. I use a different iron sight with the base skin. and it's a really beautiful iron sight, but you can play around with that barrel quite a lot to your heart's content. There's so many different loadouts for this. Tectonic has a very passive long-range build that works great for him. Actually, that's a good point. Path's team did do a video, which was not a top 10, it was just talking about what the buffs and nerfs meant. I think that was more meaningful because you can make your own decision as to whether it's worth trying. This is the Switchblade. So I did put this back in my loadout because in the past I have used this to devastating effect. This has had a nerf or a series of nerfs, but it's still really good. But when I last tried using it, it was on high ping, and I couldn't even. I gave up, and I went and used an UL. I think it was on Uketown, and I did much better being very slow with a passive gun than I did trying to be aggressive on North America. Yeah, HVK, so this is, most people will have this as their number one. They'd consider it broken, and it's really only the comp scene discovering this, then it got banned in the comp scene, as to why it's so popular. I don't like it. It doesn't have enough bullets. If you're a skilled player with good accuracy, this is a great gun. Like, it's pretty hard to go against it. Jokester, when he was using his AK-47, was dying to HVKs. So you'd say, yeah, it's pretty obvious the guns are not created equal. So, you know, then your personal meta is just sometimes how you feel about a gun. So out of everything I've seen here, the Graal's pretty good. Like, I've only just started using that with the rank reset. And yeah, he's got no LMGs, eh? The AS VAL I'm going to play around with, but not today. FFAR is a good option, but it's not on my loadout at the moment. Yeah, so thank you, Strange One. And then there's SKS, which is great. I agree. I think this is not his top 10. I think it's honorable mention. This is, if the AS VAL works better for me than the SKS, then we'll see. But I could possibly put one or the other back in, along with I need to get back into sniping just so that I'm not rusty with that. It shows the best shotgun. I stole a shotgun during S&D last stream and hit market with it, so that's pretty much my shotgun experience, and died. Yeah, best sniper, I'd agree. This is an interesting way of doing it, so it's just saying they don't know where these fit in the meta, because I think most top 10 lists are done for respawns, to be honest. Most of the content creators you see, other than Jokester, play hardpoint and so on. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. Occasionally someone will do a top 5 S&D gunsmiths. I think those are more useful to the majority of us in this community. Then the next one was Kith. He's from Philippines. Hasn't been as active. You'd say SKS is number one in my opinion. If it wasn't banned in comp, Space would still be using it all the time. And I did ask him about, you know, how he got so good with it, and his advice was just pick the SKS, find a loadout that you like, and then play with it for a month. So, you know, for 30 days, and you'll master it. But I think that's true of any gun. You could pick any gun, even a non-meta gun, and you'll find out what it's all about. Like, it's kind of what the camo grinds that we sometimes do, like for gold or whatever, diamond. Maybe diamond's a bit better because you got to spend more time with it. But yeah, if you just focus, you'll learn it. Tectonic populates Graal. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. He was looking for something else. I think he felt it was a bit lacking, but he's doing good with it.
At number 10, we have the XPR and the
XPR I used for a bit. I just haven't been feeling it for some time. DLQ is about what I use. Okay, but it's in the top 10, which, like I say, not everybody puts these guns. Okay, the 9 is the Bizon. I'd agree with that. The Bizon is so easy to use, and I think one of my recent videos was just clutching up with this. It's nice and safe. It's got range, it's got some aggression. You can build it a couple of different ways. I like the mobility build. I've actually been fighting an S&D against, like, even Terminal. I can outmove snipers and get them. The problem is people holding hands, so sometimes you slide and you're facing 3 people, so you can only get one of them. It's not, you know, the best fire time to kill, but it's good enough. They'd have to massively nerf it to get rid of it. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can build it. Okay, PK and the Graal he's got in. So he's saying that, you know, if you're a Graal user, you could also use the PK. He's saying that the same thing. I used to use the PK, haven't for a while. I don't know, I'd consider the PK more off meta, but these are stats guys. I'm surprised the Graal's not getting a bit higher, but then I guess it's like the Bizon. It's a safe, versatile gun. Yeah, that's what both of those are. Okay, this is the Holger. So most people have just dumped the Holger out of their lists, but you see enough content creators still dying to Holgers and respawns. I've got the Mythic. I wouldn't use the red dot, so you could use a laser or an underbarrel. UL, okay, yeah, he's putting the UL first, so a number of people consider this to be the best LMG. I'd say if you're playing passive, holding a long angle, I'd agree. You can use it in respawns and S&D. I personally find respawns it works better, and there's a number of different ways you can build that as well. You can make it way more hit flinch resistant and accurate. Okay, in the KN. The KN's interesting, actually. I might try the KN. Gosh, ever since those two guns existed, there's been debate about which is the best. I remember Path was in the LK camp, and I think Signo was in the KN camp. There's a lot of intellectual, stats-based arguments about it, but also even amongst the content creators. But we've got so many guns now. Yeah, the LK does have terrible baseline sights. Kilo's great. Pretty solid. Krieg's still good, but you need a red dot unless you're a rich boy. PDW and FFAR. Kith's got those equal. The PDW is pretty good, but again, it's one of those guns, even though it was one of the first guns I really played a lot with these days, I don't feel it. Like, compared to the Cordite, I'd rather use the Cordite, and the PP Bizon's just better than all of those SMGs. Then everyone tends to group these together. They're aggressive. The Phoenix historically worked better for me than those other two. Okay, and the HVK in number 1 there as well for Kith. Okay, here's Bobby. Bobby was one of the first content creators to do one. He did a 3-hour stream and then turned it into content, which is a good way to do it. Looks like he's got some honorable mentions, which is a good way to do it, to say, hey, these are very good. So it looks like he's got... Wait, what's he actually saying?
Super solid and absolutely viable in the current meta, just not good enough to be in.
Yeah, he's got music, so I'm not gonna... Okay, so there's his Holger build. That looks like Kith's. And he's got the Bizon, looks like just out of the top 10 as well. Honorable mentions. He talks about the Grasa. I've used it in BR. I don't really like the iron sight, to be honest. Or the gun. I haven't used it much. It was Alcatraz. Okay, this is official mentions, I think. Oh. Special mentions? Are all those guns in special mentions?
You having a slower rate of fire is going to struggle a little bit more in the close range.
He's got music on in the background. Cordite is good. I had that in for the last half of the last season. It was my favorite gun at one point. But yeah, honestly, I've just gone back to the PP Bizon. I do think it's just better all around. CBR. I still don't know if this is a numbered list he's up to yet. I can't see his numbers. I mean, he's got a bunch of SMGs. I would consider it to be an AR meta still. But in whole, the game is a fast meta. Gosh, Bobby, is it hard to get your editors to put a number up? Oh, that's the DRH. That's his DRH loadout. It's probably the pro player loadout. Chinese Uling. I got the DRH back in my loadout because it's a snake gun, right? Those that saw yesterday's video, I'd call it off meta. It's not top 10 worthy. Okay, he's got the UL. Bobby's a big fan of the UL. He was campaigning for it to be the best LMG for some time. He's got an SKS. What? Yeah, and I guess you can split your meta out into skilled meta. Like, I'd actually consider the HVK to be skilled meta. The Fennec, the SKS, actually even the DLQ, even the snipers. I think there is some skill involved in sniping that you need to spend some time mastering the basics before you can take advantage of the one-shot meta. In fact, if you're new to the game and didn't really, have a preference, I'd just say get the DLQ, level that up, and just stick with that. You can build in a number of different ways too. Stick a tech scope on it. Okay, I don't know what his numbering system is, but we can just see the guns. I presume it's counting down. Is it a KN? I don't know whether what we're seeing matches what he's talking about.
Better ADS time.
Oh yeah, I think he's saying the KN's better than the LK. He's got a gunsmith here. Okay, and there's this new one, CX, whatever it is, 9. DRH is best 3-tap. Okay. Yeah, some are saying the AK is, although the AK can be a 2-tap. You got to get up. It's the inconsistency when the multiplier is on the chest and not the arms, because obviously when you hold, you're holding a gun, the arms cover the chest. So if you've got a gun that's got arms and chest and head multipliers, that's really, really good. But some of these 3 taps, it's not, you're not going to consistently get a three shot. That looks like the kilo. It's hard to tell sometimes with all these. I think it's a kilo. Okay, we're just seeing the same sort of theme. I'll speed this up because I actually want to play the game. Switchblade, yeah, like I say, I've probably been dying to that the most. It's really freaking annoying, especially when I'm on high ping. There's the Graal. Graal, yep. Yep, those are the 2 I'd agree with. Just based on observation and the HVK. I don't know, I see less of the HVK, to be honest. Like I say, if it's a skilled meta, some of you guys would fit that bill. You're skilled players, you can deal with it just fine, but games go a bit iffy sometimes, so I just want reliability and versatility. Good one, Bobby. And we got Godzly here actually doing some content. Good stuff, boy.
Let's hop right into it.
It's a top 10, so he's got the Fennec. I mean, the Fennec is popularized again in Chinese comp. It got nerfed a couple of seasons ago because of China comp when no one else was using it. But just watching those comp games inspires people sometimes, so it's another one. If you sat with it for a bit, you'd actually get really good, and it can be one of the best guns in the game if you play your range right. Looks like Godzly's doing more than just gunsmiths. He's doing loadouts, which is kind of a really cool way of doing it. I know when I started the game, that was really helpful. What wasn't helpful is that some YouTubers use the phrase loadout and gunsmith interchangeably. Gunsmith is your attachments on your gun, how you build your gun. Loadout is all the things that go with it, your perks and score streaks, all of that. Okay, I think we're into the top 5, so he's got the CX9. I don't like it personally, but I know some of you do, just different players. He's got the HVK. Like I say, Godzly's one is interesting. He's got the kilo, the Graal. I was using it with a red dot as well, but the Archangel barrel actually gives it on the base skin, gives it a really nice iron sight. AK-47, he's got the AK-47. So interesting. Now remember, these top 10s are done with less than a week of play, so I don't think that's actually long enough to determine for the current season what the meta is. But content, got to get it out. How's he built his Holger? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's standard build. That's what I'd normally use. SKS, he's got that pretty high up. Very good. I have seen him popping off with that. And he's got the Koshka. Yeah, Koshka got a really good buff. It's the best aggressive sniper probably at the moment. And I guess if you use a skin with a square scope, because I don't like the default scope at all, can't use it. I'm still going to stick with the DL Q. Okay, thank you, Godzly. Ferg's just came out, I think, overnight. I mean, he doesn't really, I don't know, we don't notice him playing the game, so he's just focused on content, I think. So he must have people helping him with these loadouts. He's got the AS VAL in the top 10.
A viable option.
Yeah, viable option does not mean meta, but viable is, off meta. You can use it, get good at it, slay with it. Wait, what was that? Oh, what I don't like is his editor, how they put these up really quick. I think it's deliberate to force you to pause. I don't know whether that boosts your YouTube stats. I would have thought watching the whole thing through did, but more likely you're going to come back and screenshot. Yeah, good. He's got some snipers in. His ZRG and the Koshka got buffed. Again, it's one of those ones, you can pick any sniper, almost any sniper, and just stick with it, and you'll do great. So it's really, I think, just preference. Krieg, yeah, I mean, the problem is we see these guns as mythics and stuff, whereas most of us don't have them. If you had a mythic, you'd definitely use that gun, I think. AK-47, look at that skin. Okay, he's got the Peacekeeper in his top 10, interesting. Yeah, the Holger, some have chucked it out, but I think it's still... Yeah, look how quick those bloody gunsmiths go. Number 7, M13. Yeah, M13's, especially you got a mythic version. Default, not so much. I'd find the inside of its pants. 6. He's got the CODm. Nice. Okay. And the PDW. And probably the CBR. Yeah, the PDW, guys, if you haven't used it, try it. Tried it last season. Sometimes the changes happen in a previous season, but it takes people a while to catch up as other nerfs happen. Is that UL? UL? It is UL. He's got UL, but he's got an aggressive barrel on it. So this is the other thing. Sometimes when someone does a top 10, I'll go and see if they've done any live streams or any other content where I can actually see them using it. Because I want to know how they use it. Well, one, I want to know that they do use it. And that they've used it enough. Switchblade, he's got that pretty high. Yeah, I'd agree with that, just based on what I'm dying to. SKS, yep, okay, so that's an agreement with what you guys were saying. He's got old gameplay. Okay, GG's FFAR, pretty standard. And this was the last one, Shad, I watched last night. Now, he's got, I think he's, is this the Indian player? No, I think he might be Garena. This one's not speaking. So yeah, he had a shotgun in his top 10, which made me think Garena. Yeah, this Holger here is a bit unorthodox. The accuracy is terrible and control. This is why I went to see if he had any videos, specifically what I was talking about, this guy. And he hasn't streamed for 2 years. So I wanted to see what mode are you using this in? This is aggressive. I do think the Holger still has a place for sure. But personally, because I've got so many options, I want to have a special place for it. So this looks quite aggressive. So I wanted to see how are you using this? Are you using this in hardpoint, or what's the story? Because this is not going to help at range. And it's a full tap weapon. Maybe he's playing mid range. He's got the SKS in. He's got the Switchblade, Graal, all pretty standard stuff. HVK, Koshka, DL Q. He's got all the snipers. I think that's it, and it's all just gameplay. Alrighty, people. Yeah, I just wanted to do something a little bit different. While I'm loading in, we can talk about this. I think this is the best LMG actually, but I've got a crossbar on it. So it's not an accuracy; it's a movement spam, and have a lot of visibility. But I can use that in most modes. If I just have one gun, I could probably make that work just by changing out some of the perks and stuff. And then I have if I need to go passive and just camp it up, the UL's is the way. 60 bullets, I don't know. Okay, so this is Shad's loadout. I might just put that on for YOLOs to start with, just to see if I can get a game. The RPG is actually this one here is the Clan Wars, the trial loadout I use for Clan Wars. And so the RPD is built in a very aggressive way. It's a sort of a shipment build. But I do like having fun in S&D sometimes when I can spam. Obviously that got me into trouble yesterday or the day before when I got executed. First time. PP Bizon. So that's another one where definitely for S&D, like the movement on this, especially with Skulk. I don't even have Skulker on that one. Maybe I should put Skulker on that. Sometimes movement's a bit much for me. If the ADS is too much, let's try that. Yeah, the Graal is, like I say, I can't ignore, but use the base loadout and this barrel, and you get a really good iron sight. Don't use any of the blueprints. I use this MW11 Holidays for movement boosts. This loadout here is faster running than any knife, but then it just comes down to what your red perk is. And I'd rather have something I can, even though this isn't a great gun, I can start firing if I'm running with it, which is a bit harder to do with the knife. I put this back in my loadout, I just need to use it a bit more. So I'm not looking for a top 10, I'm just looking for meta, most effective tactics. So tools that go with however I'm deploying my my tactics based on what I get served up. There's the DRH, we were using that last stream. I think it's better for S&D, but we did all right in hardpoint, and I'm going to change, I'm not using the Switchblade.